Welcome to the Living Faith at Home podcast. This podcast is designed to inspire and encourage you to follow Jesus and live your faith at home. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. This is Pastor Victor, and we're glad that you're with us at the Living Faith at Home podcast. Today's episode, we're going to talk to Sara Edmister about some of the lessons she's learning during the global pandemic of COVID-19. Hi, Sara.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a rainy day here in Rhode Island, but it's going to be nice tomorrow, so we can get out.
That's something to look forward to.
I know. So basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to a few people and just see some of the things that God is teaching them right now, and hopefully as an encouragement to folks. We've got that nice catchphrase, God is at work, but to hear how he's at work is really encouraging. So how are you doing? What's God teaching you right now? What are some lessons that you and your husband are learning during this pandemic here?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think I'm really learning two major things right now, and God's really speaking in two major ways. The first being that God is in control, not me, not my husband, not my boss, nobody but God is in control. And I've always kind of struggled with that. I've always had a hard time handing over to God and just letting God be in control. But right now, I think God's really teaching me to embrace that and find peace in that. Whereas before, in the normal everyday, God being in control and me not kind of scares me because it makes me feel out of control. God made me that way for whatever reason, is I feel like I have to be in control. But right now, I'm finding myself strangely at peace with God being in control. And, even just the little things, like I can't go to work right now, and I don't know when I'm going to go to work next. And you know what? That's out of my control. I have nothing to do with that. Nothing I can do will change that or make me go to work sooner or later. That's completely out of my control, but that's in God's control. When I think about the possibility of getting sick, I'm staying home, I'm taking the appropriate precautions and whatnot, the face mask and all that. I feel like in a time as right now, when we're just so out of control, I would expect to feel anxious about that, but I'm actually finding myself really at peace with that. It's like, great, then the responsibility doesn't fall on my shoulders. Yeah, I'm still going to use hand sanitizer. I'm still going to wash my hands a lot, but I'm not going to be under this, I would say, false impression that it's all up to me for me not to get sick. And that's really historically been hard for me because I'm a scientist. My brain works very cause and effect. I historically would think if I wash my hands enough, I will not get sick. But there's so much false security in that line of thinking. And right now, God's really helping me to realize that. And I'm really learning to trust in his control and not in mine. And then the second thing I would say I'm learning right now, which has probably been less comfortable, is I'm learning that historically my relationship or where I build my relationship with God has been very routine based. I'm a person of habit. I drink the same coffee every day. I wash my hair with the same shampoo. I wake up at the same time. I read the Bible at the same time every day. I read the Bible on the bus. I read the Bible after I shower at night. I have my prayer time in the morning before I get on the bus. And right now, I'm not taking the bus.
Mm.
I'm going to work. I'm not taking the bus. And frankly, I'm not showering every day.
Saving that shampoo.
So as weird and like as little and kind of stupid as it sounds, I'm realizing that all the times that I had my really deep prayer time and my Bible time and my journaling time, and I used to, when I walk to work every day, I listen to praise music, and I'm not walking to work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really been a challenge, and I would say an uncomfortable lesson, because it starts to make me feel guilty. And frankly, if I'm being honest, when I lost that routine of going to work and showering every day, which maybe I should start showering every day, but when I lost that routine, I found it a lot harder to incorporate that prayer time and that Bible time. And that was really like the first thing to go. I still drink the same coffee every day, but why can't I also have my deep prayer time in the morning, you know, during the coffee, after the coffee? So that's been uncomfortable for me. And I'm still kind of struggling with that, because I feel like it's hard to admit that all these things that you thought you were doing well, you know, it took me months and months to incorporate this routine and these little times with God. So I felt like I was doing something good. But was I doing it for the wrong reasons? Was I doing it out of routine? And I think so. I think that that's really caused me to see that the time I spend with God has to be more intentional, so that it's not affected by these things such as not going to work.
Yeah. I remember when we looked at experiencing God, one of the principles of experiencing God is adjustments are required.
Yeah.
And I think the routines that we establish facilitate us having a relationship with God, and they're good. Like the time, the place, the bus, those things like helped you thrive. But then I think a lot of people struggle. I've struggled with this when I can't do those things or the routine is different. I don't realize right away I have to make adjustments. I can't go on the bus anymore. So when is the new time going to be? And there's like a little bit of a lag that happens with people where they realize they struggle and then realize, oh, wait, I'm not reading the Bible anymore because it was based on the bus and I don't take the bus anymore. You know what I mean? And I think that's common. I think the people right now that are maybe still struggling in their relationship with God, maybe it's because they're trying to live the same way that they did before this all happened, and it's frustrating. And so adjustments, making adjustments, you know what I mean? And even you describing your routine is a very nice controlled, to your first point, like this is what I do when I do it. And adjustments affect that control issue there. Yeah. Do you find yourself, are you joyful? Are you like heavy? Like how are your emotions right now?
I'm feeling good, actually. I'm not feeling afraid or anxious. I actually, and I feel weird saying that. Like, I feel happy.
Yeah.
If a little pent up, but happy. And I even told Brian, we were going for a walk the first week, and I feel like that's when everyone was really freaking out. And I even said to Brian on this walk I said, I'm not afraid, and I feel like maybe I'm supposed to be. I said to him, was like, am I missing something? Do you think I should be afraid? Should I be nervous right now? And he had the same experience where he said, I think we're just letting go and letting God. And so I'm truly blessed that we continue to feel good and stressed. And I'm just thinking of this as really a staycation. So
yeah. I think there's different people are experiencing different things. Frontline hospital workers are experiencing something that stay-at-home moms are experiencing in a totally different way, and
Yeah.
you and Brian in a different way, and someone living in an urban setting in a different way. And so it's all we're all learning new things about our relationship with God. All right, last question before I let you go. If you give me a quick snapshot on it, you and your husband have been good examples of like really wanting to be hospitable, reach out to your neighbors, and we're practicing social distancing and stuff like that. So that's a lot harder to do. So what are you doing in light of still trying to love your neighbors, and stuff like that? How's that going?
Yeah, so that's been really interesting. And I really have been fighting to not let that go. Like you said, is last year being hospitable and being a good neighbor was really my goal, I guess, my resolution for last year. And this year I wanted to continue that. And so in light of the situation right now, I decided I just did not want to let that go. I'm not willing to let that slide.
Yeah.
Which, if I did, who could blame me? But I'm not going to. And so we've actually become pretty close with our neighbors during this. We live in an apartment complex. But so I made cookies the first week of quarantine with a little note saying, "You're not alone. We're in this with you. We're praying for you."
Yeah. Wow.
I put our phone numbers on there and said, "You're free to stop by." But nobody really did, but so I guess that's a good thing. But so we've been leaving treats for our neighbors.
Awesome.
Well, come to find on our doorstep Easter morning, we had an Easter basket and candy and drawings and dyed eggs with our names on them for our next door neighbor who we previously weren't really close with.
Yeah, no way. Awesome.
Yeah, cupcakes, the whole 9 yards. We've also been Zooming with a lot of our friends, or just calling a lot of our friends. I was on the phone with a friend for 2 hours a couple days ago. So there's been that. And then the one thing that I wish we could do more often, but that I was truly blessed by, was one of our friends. We have a couple friends who are a couple, and one of them's a doctor in an emergency room and one's a firefighter. And so we always appreciate these friends, of course, and what they do for their community. But we were able and blessed to provide that couple with Easter dinner on Easter day, and we just left it on their doorstep. And especially being that the one friend is working with COVID patients, so we didn't offer anything, but we were really blessed to do that. And so it's really required us getting creative, but I think we're really fighting to not let that go, not let that slide during this.
Awesome. Yeah, and you know what? I guess we're all planting seeds that can be harvested when this is over in those relationships. So that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, keep up the good work. It's good to see you. I can't wait till we're all back together again, but I appreciate you zooming in to say hi.
Absolutely.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Living Faith at Home podcast. If you'd like more information about Living Faith Christian Church, visit us online at livingfaithri.org.